The following video was recorded on a Ring security camera inside what appears to be a bedroom, a tidy, softly lit space at night, the kind of room that feels completely ordinary right up until it doesn't. According to the person who shared this footage, they were home alone, with no roommates in the house, no one expected, no one nearby. Watch.
Yeah?
At the 3-second mark, 2 sharp, firm knocks ring out. Clear, deliberate, exactly the kind of sound you'd hear if someone's knuckles connected with a wooden door. And she responds naturally, calmly calling out, "Yeah?" from somewhere off camera, as if she fully expected someone to answer. No one did. The room stays completely still. No door opens, no footsteps follow, nothing moves. That's what makes it so unsettling. A knock that deliberate doesn't happen on its own. Some viewers think it's residual energy, the idea that certain spaces replay past actions like a loop, a knock from someone who used to live there, still reaching for an answer. Others aren't convinced by that and lean towards something more active, something that knew she was home. What you're left with is a sound that had intention behind it, and a silence afterward that's harder to explain than the knock itself. The following video was recorded by a man doing what he does most nights, walking around his compound making sure everything was as he left it. At dusk, he starts filming himself on his phone, giving a casual walkthrough of the yard. A couple of sheds, some trees, nothing unusual. But as the light fades completely and he switches to a flashlight to navigate the dark, something stops him. Watch.
What the f... Sound like a twig snapping behind me. As y'all can see, ain't nobody here, it's just me. Because people like to say I got people hiding in places. Oh, man. The chills I just got. Oh, my heart is racing. Okay, we're gonna see it through. We're gonna see it through. So I've been sitting out here now for about maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm not really sure at this point. Not much else has happened. Aside from the noise that I heard in front of me, the twig snapping, which could have just been a twig falling from the tree. Nothing's really gone on. So I think I'm just gonna get ready to just like wrap it up, and because I gotta get ready to go to work anyway. But oh my, holy, I don't know if the camera picked that up. That was loud as fudge. It sounded like something hitting the thing, the shed. I hope the other camera is recording. If it is, I'm gonna include that footage. That was loud. These damn animals are going crazy tonight. You can't even see me. I don't know why I turned the damn camera. can't see me. I'm trying to do this. I heard that clear as day. I heard leave as clear as day. Nope. Time to go. Okay. Later.
The shed door he insists he locked earlier that night is standing open. He pushes it shut, latches it, and then, after a moment of hesitation, decides to go inside. What he finds on the shelves isn't a tool chest or garden equipment. It's dozens of Lalaloopsy dolls, all in their original packaging, lined up in neat rows like they've been carefully arranged and waiting. A child's rocking horse sits on the floor. It's the kind of discovery that doesn't make sense in a shed like this, on a property like this, at this hour. Then, while he's standing there taking it all in, he looks off to his left, and whatever he sees makes him let out a sharp, guttural yell before the camera drops and the footage cuts. You never see what he reacted to. Some viewers think the collection itself is the real story, that objects associated with children, especially dolls, have long been connected in paranormal accounts to residual energy or to something that uses familiar, comforting forms to draw people closer. Skeptics argue the whole thing reads more like a short horror film than a genuine patrol gone wrong, pointing to the neat narrative arc and the perfectly timed text overlay. But his reaction in that final moment, the pitch of that yell, the way the camera just drops, is difficult to explain away. So what do you think was standing in that shed? This next video was recorded at night inside what appears to be a home. A living room, a kitchen, a dark outdoor space glimpsed through a barred window. And from the very first frame, something already feels off. The person filming moves through the space in near total silence, sweeping a powerful light source through the rooms, the kind of light that shifts between green and red and throws everything into harsh, disorienting shadows. A child's tricycle sits near a speaker stand. Framed photos line an entertainment unit. Normal things in a space that doesn't feel normal anymore. For the first 2 minutes, there's no audio at all, just the flicker of colored lights, the unsteady movement of a handheld camera, and a slow, creeping sense that whatever has drawn this man through his own home is getting closer. Watch.
Va de retro satana, itzi, it non draco, elevas, itse venena vivas. Va de retro satana. Va de retro satana. Y estoy, amigos, con ustedes. No tengan miedo. Que si yo no tengo miedo, ustedes tampoco. La verga, güey. No, fue mala idea decir esas mamadas. El agua. Está lloviendo. Cruz, Sacras, Hit Me y Lux. non draco sit mi idux, va de retro satana, nun quan suade mini vana, sud mala, elevas, bit se venena vivas. Aquí fui.
The handle moves as though someone or something is trying to force its way inside. Many viewers suggested there could have been an ordinary explanation. Perhaps someone outside had mistaken the house, or strong wind was putting pressure on the door. Those possibilities can't be ruled out. Others weren't convinced. Across many folklore traditions, an unseen presence attempting to gain entry carries a particular significance. Stories from Europe, Asia, and Latin America often describe supernatural entities as remaining outside a home until they are invited in, or until someone willingly opens the door. Whether those tales are symbolic or literal depends entirely on who you ask, but they all share one common warning. Don't open the door simply because something on the other side wants your attention. That detail is what unsettled so many viewers. Whatever was outside never announced itself. And sometimes, the things you never see are far more frightening than the ones you do. On another night, the man was jolted awake by a sound coming from the same part of the house. Expecting to find a window open or something that had fallen over, he grabbed his phone and started recording as he made his way into the room. What he found was far stranger. Watch. A wooden rocking chair is moving back and forth on its own. Not a slight wobble, and not the kind of movement you'd expect after someone has just stood up. It's rocking steadily, over and over again, as though someone is still sitting in it, even though the room is completely empty. He slowly scans the area, looking for anything that could explain it. Nothing. No one is there. Rocking chairs have occupied a strange place in ghost stories for generations. From old family homes to abandoned farmhouses, they're often portrayed as symbols of an unseen occupant, something present but invisible. While folklore isn't evidence, the image of an empty chair rocking by itself has become one of the most enduring motifs in paranormal accounts because it creates the unsettling impression that a space is occupied even when it appears vacant. The following video was recorded by a man named David, who has been dealing with strange, escalating activity inside his home for what appears to be a significant stretch of time, long enough that he's stopped being surprised by individual events and started trying to document a pattern. On this particular night, he woke to sounds he couldn't immediately explain, grabbed his phone, and began moving through the dark hallway with nothing but the screen's glow lighting the way. A person named Frida was asleep in a red hammock in the living room, completely undisturbed, while David made his way from room to room checking each door. He'd said earlier that he thought it had all stopped. Watch.
Yo creo que ya se había acabado. Se empezó a mover. No hay nadie. Y esa es Frida. Que no hay nada ni nadie. Ya se había detenido todo esto. No sé.
The doorknob turned on its own, slowly, deliberately, and the door swung open into darkness, with no one on the other side. The most unnerving moment came last. A disembodied female voice, close and clear, whispered his name, David, in a room he was alone in. 3 separate events in under 2 minutes is the kind of escalation that tends to shift how people think about a case, and it clearly shifted something for David too, because what comes next is a full investigation. Watch closely.
Ahí se escucha. Ya está, antes de voy a encender la luz de esto.
In the days that followed, David installed security cameras, scattered talcum powder on the floor to track movement, and started recording everything. The cameras caught a faint voice that sounds like a child saying, "I hate you, Dad," in an empty room. And on March 28th of 2026, at around 1:30 in the morning, the security footage captured a fast-moving white shape darting behind a box and appearing to vanish into a large mirror. Some viewers believe it's what David himself called La Niña, the girl, suggesting something or someone has made that mirror a point of entry or exit. Others pointed to the diorama on David's desk, a hollowed-out CRT television containing a doll styled after the figure from The Ring, and wondered whether bringing that kind of object into the home had anything to do with what's been happening. David says he's considering opening the doll and has asked for advice from anyone familiar with these situations. What's harder to dismiss is the combination: a voice that knows his name, a shape that disappears into a mirror, and footprints that haven't appeared in the powder yet. But that's exactly the kind of detail that makes you wonder what David's going to find when he checks it next time. Now, in this next clip, a man is home alone when something inside his basement begins violently demanding to be let out. For several seconds, the door to the basement shakes and rattles in its frame with a force that sounds less like a draft and more like something throwing its full weight against the wood from the other side. He's holding his phone, standing in the hallway, and you can hear it before you even see it. Loud, aggressive, rhythmic banging that doesn't stop for over 10 seconds. Watch.
What in the hell is that sound? What the hell is that? I don't hear it now.
The door rattles like something is furious on the other side, and when he finally opens it, the basement staircase looks undisturbed. Just a few cardboard boxes sitting on the steps. But then there's a cut in the footage, and that's where things shift. A deep guttural growl fills the audio, raw and animalistic, and his breathing immediately goes ragged. When he gets the nerve to open that door a second time, the boxes have moved. Not fallen. Moved. The single box on the left has slid further down and closer to the wall, and the stack on the right has shifted position entirely. If you compare both door openings side by side, the displacement is hard to dismiss. Some viewers think whatever was banging wanted to be seen, and once it realized the camera was off, it finished what it started. Others believe the growl and the movement are two separate things sharing the same basement. He said he didn't hear it anymore once he opened the door the second time. That might be the most unsettling detail of all. The following video is about Nate, someone many viewers already recognize for the strange and often unsettling activity that seems to follow him wherever he goes. Over time, people began pointing something out to him, that he might be giving whatever it is too much attention, and that constantly reacting to it could actually be making things worse. So he decided to try something different. He started ignoring it. No reactions, no engagement, just going about his day like nothing was there. But that didn't last long because one morning, this happened. Watch.
Alright. So you people tell me to ignore things, so... Tell me what the fuck that is. I have things going on in here and in the bathroom right above me, or some upstairs above me at the same time. But, you know, I'll just ignore it. And it's not as simple as people think. Unless people experience these things, then it's not as easy as just ignoring it when this shit happens to you. I'm working on it.
Once again, you can hear faint whispers in the background, unclear but definitely there. And what makes this moment even more unsettling is that just seconds before he started recording, the cabinet where the cup falls from was completely closed. Moments like this are why many believe that attention plays a role in these situations. Some say that reacting to activity can strengthen whatever is causing it, almost like feeding it energy, but others argue the opposite, that ignoring it doesn't make it go away. It just makes it find other, more aggressive ways to be noticed. And for Nate, it doesn't stop at home. Because as much as he deals with this inside his house, his workplace isn't any different. Watch this.
All right. Good morning, ghosts. Happy Friday to you guys, too. Well, I don't really see anything out of place or kind of... Everything looks... Oh. I could feel that. I could feel that. Did I offend you by saying good morning? That's different. All right. I take back the good morning then. Oh, okay. We're gonna do this now. All right. I take back good morning then. Jesus Christ. Well, now the knocking on the walls has started once again. Just figure out, turn the camera on and see if I can catch it. Because, I mean, it was every wall. Like, and it's inside because when it did it on this wall, this and the chains were slightly swaying. So that tells me I wish I can understand what whatever this is wanted.
At the cemetery where he works, something can be heard bang against the walls of the garage over and over again. Not random noises, but heavy, deliberate impacts, like something trying to get his attention from the other side. Some believe this could be tied to the environment itself. Cemeteries are often associated with residual energy, places where emotions, grief, and history linger. Others think it could be something more direct, something that may have attached itself to Nate, following him between locations. And then there's one of the strangest things he's come across at work. Watch.
We have this morning. Just one. No other ones. Just one single claw print or weird handprint. Fingers are super long. They look a little sharp on the edge, like small scratches underneath. And there is almost like it was jumping up there. But I don't see anything.
On the floor, there's a deep claw-like marks. Just one, as if something appeared, dragged across the surface once, and vanished. Some viewers even claimed to hear whispers toward the end of the clip, though no one could clearly make out what was being said. So what could leave a mark like that? This one remains unsolved. In this next video, a father shares an experience that completely changed the way he sees his own home. For some time, there had been small things he couldn't fully explain, moments where he thought he heard movement late at night, or faint sounds coming from parts of the house that should have been empty. Nothing too obvious, just enough to make him uneasy, but not enough to convince himself something was wrong, until one night, he suddenly woke up to the sound of his son crying, not a soft whimper, but the kind of crying that makes you get up immediately. Without thinking twice, he rushed out of his room to check on him, but something didn't feel right, so he decided to check the camera. Watch closely.
No. Good. No.
You can hear it clearly, a child crying, but then something else happens. A figure moves past, and for a brief moment, it looks like the shape of a child. Yet, something about it feels off. The movement isn't natural, the timing doesn't match the crying, and the presence itself feels separate from the sound. And this is where things start to get really disturbing, because when he finally checked on his son was fine. Not crying, not awake, just sleeping, which raises a terrifying possibility. Some viewers believe this could be a case of something imitating familiar sounds to draw attention, possibly to lure someone out of their room. It's a theory often mentioned in cases where voices or cries are heard, but don't match any real person in the house. Others think it could be a shadow figure manifesting briefly, using sound and movement together to make its presence known. But whatever it was, it knew exactly what would get his attention. So if that wasn't his son crying, then what was it? I'll let you be the judge. Now, in this next clip, Isaac, the man living in that old property with 2 haunted sheds, a place already known for strange activity that seems to grow worse over time, shares an update on his current situation. On this particular day, Isaac was doing a live stream, going about things normally, when a strange sound suddenly caught his attention. It wasn't loud, but it was enough to make him stop mid-sentence and go check it out. Watch this.
Y'all heard it too? Y'all heard it too? Because I know I heard something. I know I'm not going crazy. I'm standing right here with y'all. I'm standing right here with y'all. My hands. My hands. I'm standing right here with y'all. Just burn the whole house at this point. I can't, they ain't got nowhere to live. Fuck. Oh. Ah. Ooh. Ow. Oh. Hit my leg. I hit my knee so bad. Oh my God, that hurt. Oh.
Isaac had previously explained that this room used to belong to the grandfather who owned the land, and according to family members, he always preferred warm temperatures. It was something very specific about him, something only people close to him would know. And just to rule out any easy explanations, Isaac made it clear during the live stream that the other remote was in the living room, and the remotes don't control each other, something he had tested before when he once misplaced one of them. So if no one was in the room, and no remote was being used, then what turned it on? Some viewers believe this could be the grandfather's presence, something familiar, almost routine, repeating what he used to do when he was alive. But others aren't so convinced, because what happens next changes the tone completely. Tired of everything happening around him, Isaac eventually decided to bless the house, and for a few days, things were quiet. Almost too quiet, until this happened. Watch.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Like I said, I've left the living room and I've officially moved into the bedroom now, and it's what the hell? Well, well, I was gonna say, that it's been pretty calm all day. Somebody did ask me if they blessed the sheds, and the answer is no. They actually didn't. For some reason, my landlord was pretty adamant about leaving the sheds alone. We did the furthest one where the memorial is, but the one near the house and the one with the car in it, she was absolutely adamant that that would not be blessed, that would not be touched, and so we didn't touch it. I didn't ask any questions. Her reaction wasn't like mean or anything. She was just like, yeah, I don't like that's not a good idea. Almost kind of like, nah, just leave it alone type of thing. So, I mean, other than that, it's been a really good day. It's been a really damn good day, to be perfectly honest with you. Why are my windows so foggy? Look at this. Look how foggy my windows are. Look, these two. Can you even see it? I don't even know if you can see it. It's like mad condensation. Why is there so much condensation on my flipping window? I didn't run. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say, to be perfectly honest with you, but guess I'll go ahead and finish getting ready for work. Watching Wicked while I get dressed. Alright, talk to you later.
A door suddenly closes on its own, the light shuts off, and for those listening closely with headphones, some claim they can hear a faint voice saying, "Go away," And that's what really unsettled people. Because if that voice is real, then whatever is there doesn't just exist. It has intent. Some viewers believe this might be a reaction to the blessing itself. There's a theory that if a space is only partially cleansed, whatever is there can simply move to the uncleansed areas. And in Isaac's case, that would be the sheds. And there's another layer to this. Isaac mentioned he wasn't allowed to cleanse the sheds, which raises a disturbing possibility. If something is tied to those sheds, and you cleanse only the house, then you're not removing it, you're cornering it. And according to many who study these cases, that can make whatever is there more aggressive. So now the question is, was that the grandfather making his presence known? Or was it something else entirely? Something that doesn't want Isaac on that property anymore? You decide. In the following video, a man named Moses and his family were on their way home one evening when his daughter insisted they stop by a small playground near their house. It was a simple request, just a few minutes to play before heading in. Reluctantly, he agreed. The kid played, laughed, and enjoyed the quiet moment. But as time passed, something about the place began to feel off. The kind of uneasiness you can't explain, like being watched without seeing anyone. Then, just as they were about to leave, Moses saw it clearly. Someone was there, hiding. He turned his camera toward a nearby tree and started calling out, asking whoever was there to show themselves. And then, it did. Watch.
No te vas a golpear en la resbaladilla cuando te bajes.
¿Me bajo?
Sí.
Ah. ¡Ey,
Mira,
Dana!
mira, mira. Dana, ven. Venga, mira, cheque, a ver, miren el árbol aquel. No, la neta, te lo juro que yo miraba algo, como que se asomaba. A ver, venga.
Ya me dio miedo.
No, es que yo miré algo, neta. No pasa nada. No, mi amor, no pasa nada, ven. No era nada, ven. ¿Qué?
¿Qué es?
No sé, no. Irga, sí se miró. ¡Hey! ¿Quién está ahí? Yo sí miré, alcancé a ver algo. Mira, ¿te checaste? ¿Viste?
¿Qué es eso?
A ver.
Mamá.
Oh, mira.
¿Qué es eso? Ay, no.
¡Hey! ¡Lujo! ¡Asómate!
Something peeks from behind the tree, not once, but twice, just enough to confirm that they weren't alone. At that moment, the family didn't wait to find out more. They quickly left, trying to brush it off with nervous laughter as they walked away. But after posting the video, the comments made things worse. People began sharing their own experiences about that same playground, especially after sunset. Some claimed they had seen figures standing near the trees, watching silently until noticed. Others described hearing footsteps behind them with no one there, or catching glimpses of something ducking out of sight the moment they turned to look. A few even said the place feels completely normal during the day, but changes the moment it starts getting dark, as if something else uses that space when no one is supposed to be there. So what was hiding behind that tree? For now, this one remains a mystery. In this next video, Chris and his wife are trying to finally settle an argument that's been going on for a long time. Both of them have been experiencing strange things in their home, but they don't agree on what's causing it. Chris leans toward logical explanations. Faulty wiring, loose fixtures, anything that can be explained. His wife, on the other hand, believes there's something else in the house, something they can't see but can definitely feel. So to settle it once and for all, they installed cameras everywhere. One night, while they were asleep, the cameras caught this. Watch. The stove turns on by itself, as if someone physically turned it on. Up until this point, many viewers believed the activity in their home might be tied to something harmless, possibly even a child's spirit, especially based on earlier clips where objects were lightly moved or knocked over. But after seeing this, people started to think differently, because this isn't just movement. This is dangerous, something that could have easily caused a fire. And that's why some believe this might not be something playful or harmless anymore, but something more aggressive, something with intent. And for a while, all the activity seemed to center around one place, the kitchen. Take a look at this. This doesn't look like it slipped, looks like something deliberately pushed it. According to Chris, this has become part of their daily routine. They go to bed with everything in place and wake up to the kitchen in complete disarray, cabinets disturbed, items out of place, forcing them to clean up every single morning. At this point, it's no longer about whether something is happening, it's about what is doing it and why the kitchen. What do you think? The following video is about Nate, a man who still hasn't been able to figure out what exactly he's dealing with or how to stop it. Over time, the activity in his house has gone from unsettling to genuinely alarming. He's been waking up with unexplained scratches on his body and hears footsteps moving through the house when no one else is there. One morning, after finishing his workout and preparing breakfast, he started hearing a clicking sound. At first, he assumed it was the TV, maybe even the heat vent, but after listening more closely, he realized the sound was coming from the kitchen. It sounded exactly like a stove burner clicking, the noise it makes right before igniting. Concerned it could be a gas issue, Nate rushed into the kitchen to check, and that's when this happened. Watch.
The pan is still on the stove, still warm. All the burners are off. But I kept hearing the clicking, like the burner was trying to come on. Like I said, I just finished cooking. I was sitting there drinking my coffee, and I was hearing. And it sounded like it was... Go. Why with the knives? Why with the knives? Why? Why with the knives?
The clicking sound alone was disturbing, because this was the first time it had ever happened. But what really pushed viewers into panic was what followed, the knife. For the fact that this wasn't the first time, many believe this moment marks a shift in whatever Nate is dealing with. Paranormal researchers often say there's a difference between passive activity, noises, footsteps, shadows, and intentional aggression. Throwing objects, especially sharp ones, is widely considered a warning sign. And the most terrifying part is that Nate hasn't figured out what to do next. So, until more updates are given, this case remains completely unsolved. This next video was captured by a home security camera. Around 2 a.m., the homeowners received a motion alert and decided to check the footage, expecting maybe an animal or someone passing by. But what they saw left them shaken. Watch. The family replayed the clips several times, trying to make sense of what they were seeing. When they were unable to come up with a logical explanation, they shared the footage with a few of their neighbors, hoping someone might recognize the figure, or at least explain why it looked so disturbingly human. The video ended up spreading, and longtime residents of the area immediately knew who, or what, the figure resembled. According to locals, the apparition looked strikingly similar to a woman who died in a car accident near that very stretch of road back in 1948. For decades, people who've lived in the area have quietly shared stories about a woman seen walking late at night, appearing briefly, then vanishing without a sound. Some believe spirits tied to sudden deaths don't realize they're gone, repeating the same path night after night. Others think certain locations become imprinted with trauma, replaying fragments of the past like a broken recording. What makes this even more unsettling is that the family who captured this footage had only recently moved in. They had no knowledge of the area's history, no stories passed down, no warnings. So for now, all anyone can hope is that appearing and disappearing in the dead of night is all she ever does. Now, in this next clip, Kyle heads down to his basement early in the morning, and this time it's nothing like what he's dealt with before. In the past, it was children giggling, soft footsteps, the sound of something small moving around. But this morning, it's loud and violent. Watch.
Footsteps all freaking night. Who's knocking on my basement door? Let's go back upstairs.
When the noise stopped, Kyle opened the door and found no one there. At first, he went for the simplest explanation. Maybe someone heard him coming and ran, maybe it was a prank, or maybe there's a logical reason he just hasn't thought of yet. But that theory falls apart almost immediately. Outside, the ground is covered in fresh snow. If anyone had been down there, child or adult, there should have been footprints leading away from the house, but there were none. Whatever was by the door didn't leave the way a physical person would, or maybe it didn't need to leave in the first place, because it's in the house just changing how it manifests. Some believe this suggests the activity is evolving, because it once sounded playful, now it feels aggressive. For Kyle, this isn't just another strange moment to shrug off, it's another unanswered question in a situation that keeps escalating, and becoming harder to explain. So until more updates are shared, this one remains unsolved. In this next video, a family says they've been tormented by relentless knocking late at night. Sometimes it's light, other times it turns into aggressive banging on the front door, loud enough to send the children into tears. The father has tried everything he knows, cleansing the house, daily prayers, asking for protection, and each time it works, but only temporarily. One night they woke up again, but this time it wasn't knocking that pulled them out of sleep. Listen closely.
Johnny, es la voz de la niña, papi.
Sí, pero...
De Marco.
No.
¿Cómo no? Si es la niña.
Pero
¿No
no
le ha
es...
pasado algo?
No. Ya sabes que no es la niña, ya sabes que no es la niña. Ya no vas a ir aquí. Ya sabes que no es la niña. Pues espérate.
Oye.
Está aquí afuera, ¿ah?
Sí, no habrá pasado algo.
No, tú tranquila, no pasó nada. Es eso que nos habla. Pero no le voy a abrir. Voy a bajar. No mames, güey. Ah, cabrón. Miren, amigos, no hay nadie. Ya es de madrugada y mis hijos no están, se fueron a dormir con su abuela. No hay absolutamente nadie. Escuchan los ruidos. Uy. Escuche. Yo creo que ya no es hora de estar... Yo escucho aquí. Son casi las 2 de la madrugada. Ya les mostré. No hay absolutamente nadie. Ya está todo cerrado. Está todo cerrado, yo me voy.
What immediately unsettled viewers is that the voices being heard sound like a girl, yet the kids in the house who are old enough to speak weren't even home that night. But there's another detail people couldn't ignore. In the house is a Labubu doll. While Labubu is widely known as a collectible designer toy, online forums are filled with unsettling stories tied to it. Some owners claim their dolls move slightly when no one is around. Others report unexplained knocking, whispering, or a sudden shift in atmosphere after bringing one into their home. A few even say activity escalated after prayers or cleansing, a detail that eerily mirrors this family's experience. Skeptics argue the doll is just a coincidence, a harmless object becoming a focal point because fear needs something tangible to attach to. But others believe objects don't have to cause paranormal activity to become anchors for it, especially in homes where something already seems to be present. What makes this case disturbing is the pattern. The knocking stops after cleansing, then returns, the voices mimic children who aren't there, and whatever is happening doesn't seem driven away, just temporarily pushed back. So is the doll acting as a trigger? Or is this something entirely unrelated, using familiar sounds to provoke fear? I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. Now, this next clip was recorded inside a retirement home, a building with a quiet but unsettling history. Long before it became a care facility, the property reportedly served as a private infirmary in the early 1900s, taking in patients who were considered too difficult for hospitals at the time. Several former staff members have claimed that deaths were frequent, poorly documented, and often handled during overnight hours to avoid upsetting residents. Over the years, rumors spread about certain rooms being avoided by night nurses, especially those on the upper floors. At around 3 a.m. one morning, this happened.
Oh, I know where that's at.
We have left God's past to follow our own. The sins of us all. I can't think of any better reason to do the next good thing today, so let's pass on. I'm Alex in this reverse of the day. I'm positive, encouraging Caleb.
We work with a lot of dead people.
What makes this moment disturbing is where the man recording was standing. Before the radio started blaring, he was directly below the room and didn't hear a single footstep above him. So, who turned it on? At first, staff tried to brush it off as a one-time glitch, but about an hour later, it happened again.
Dude, no. 'Cause no. Dude, no.
Oh, hell no. It turned on again? You're lying.
And someone had to turn the dial all the way the other way for it to be doing this. I don't know what's going on.
Again this time, there were no signs of anyone entering or leaving the room. Months later, after a string of more subtle occurrences, doors found unlocked, lights switched on in empty rooms, the faint sound of movement in halls long after residents were asleep, the man experienced something far more unsettling. Listen closely.
I am hearing shit. And it sounds like me.
Different words can be heard clearly. Phrases like, "What are you doing?" And then, as he stood on the stairs, a voice saying, "She's coming." In places like retirement homes, where residents, nurses, and night staff move quietly through dim corridors, some believe spirits linger, attached to routines, rooms, or even specific people. So what's the case here? Now in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his investigation inside the infamous Boyd house. His next stop was the children's room, a space filled with old, unsettling dolls. The last time Ian was here, this section of the house left him more shaken than any other. This time, he carefully scanned the room, trying to see if anything or anyone was present.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. Holy moly. I'm not alone. I am not alone in here. Okay, just calm down. Let's take a look.
What makes this moment especially disturbing is that just moments earlier, Ian had clearly seen the bear sitting completely still beneath the chair. As if that wasn't enough, just as Ian prepares to leave the room and move on to the next section of the house, something else happens.
Look in that room with the cursed painting again. I don't know. Oh, what the? That sounds like jiggling, like a doorknob. Who's in here? The hairs on my arm are standing on end right now. I literally heard like a jiggling sound. It sounded like a doorknob. I don't know. Is it this one? Did you just jiggle this doorknob? Maybe it was one of the dressers. Oh my god. Okay. I can hear it. It is coming from the closet. Look at that. That thing is moving. I can hear that clear as day. Why are you jiggling that doorknob? Are you in the closet? Just trying to keep my camera on it in case it moves. Look at it. Dude, it is moving. Do you hear that? Look at it. Is there someone behind this? There's gotta be someone. Look at that, dude. You can literally see it moving. Dude, the door's moving. Oh my god. Oh, jeez Louise. That door is shaking.
The closet doorknob began rattling violently on its own, as if someone was standing just on the other side, trying to get out. This wasn't the sound of settling wood or a loose latch. The movement was forceful. Children's rooms are often said to be hotspots in haunted locations, not because of the children themselves, but because spirits are believed to use toys and familiar objects to provoke attention or fear. And in this case, it feels less like playful activity and more like something reacting to Ian's presence. The question is, was whatever moved the bear the same thing trying to get out of that closet, or something else entirely? This investigation is far from over. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was recorded a few years back when a man noticed something on his home security footage that he couldn't shake. Footage from the same night his young son woke up terrified, crying, and refusing to go back to sleep. The recording was captured at 3:30 a.m. by a static security camera mounted high in the living room, looking down over the couch where the boy was sleeping. The father says his son told him he saw someone standing in the hallway. Watch. In the deep shadows of the hallway, a tall, thin, human-shaped silhouette stands completely motionless, and then vanishes between one frame and the next, there 1 second and simply gone the next. Moments later, the boy stirs under his blanket, sits bolt upright, and quickly leaves the room. That sequence is hard to dismiss. Many who've studied similar footage attach the shadow person label to figures like this: dark, humanoid, stationary, and gone before anything can be confirmed. Others think it's a trick of compression artifacts on night vision footage, but the child saw something first. So what was standing in that hallway at 3:30 in the morning? Now, in this next clip, a man films himself moving through his home at nearly 2 in the morning after being woken by something he can't immediately explain. He's already holding his phone when it starts. Loud, aggressive knocking at the front door, 5 rapid strikes, then 7, then 3 more in a row, each series harder than the last. Watch.
¿Qué crees que sea? Te dije que ya no subiéramos, pero no haces caso. ¿Te escuchas? ¿Quieres ir a ver? Te quedas aquí. Vamos. ¿No te da miedo? Vamos, vente. Espérate, voy a apagar la tele por si ya no subimos. Vente ya. Dame la mano. ¿Dónde crees que se escucha?
No sé, creo que allá afuera.
A ver, déjame ver si está la puerta cerrada. Espérame aquí. Son solo golpes. ¿Qué pedo? ¡Ah, no mames! ¡Vámonos! ¡Ah, no mames! ¿Qué pedo?
He opens the front door, scans the porch, pans left and right, and finds absolutely no one there. The yard is empty. Whatever was knocking, it wasn't waiting around to be seen. He moves back through the house, catches his own reflection in a mirror, and visibly recoils. Then, the piano in the living room plays a single loud, discordant chord on its own, and when he turns toward it, the brass doorknob on the closet beside it starts rattling violently, shaking like something inside is trying to force it open. He opens it, just cleaning supplies. Then, a child's ride-on toy car rolls out from a dark doorway and stops in the middle of the hallway entirely on its own. He keeps filming. He walks into the kitchen, and the doorknob on the door leading to the garage begins rattling just like the first one did. He opens it and steps inside. What builds across this footage is exactly the kind of escalating pattern that makes cases like this harder to dismiss. Multiple phenomena, different rooms, different types of disturbances, none of them repeating the same trick twice. But it's what happens in that garage that seals it, because if you listen closely, you can hear it. A clear, sharp, disembodied male whisper saying, "Vait," which translates directly to "go away" or "leave." Some think the whisper changes the nature of what's happening entirely, because poltergeists aren't typically understood to speak, and a presence that issues a verbal warning carries a very different kind of intent. Skeptics argue the variety of events across one clip stretches credibility, suggesting a staged production, but his reactions track consistently from unease to outright terror, and he never stops filming. Whatever was in that garage with him, it didn't just want to be noticed, it wanted him out. So the real question isn't whether something was there, it's why it was so eager for him to leave. The following video was captured by a man who had been noticing strange things happening inside a shed on his property. Not occasionally, not randomly, but with the kind of regularity that makes you stop dismissing it and start paying attention. He'd set up a Ring security camera inside the shed specifically to catch whatever was going on in there. And what it recorded during the day while the space sat empty is the kind of footage that's hard to shake. Watch.
Man, look at this.
You guys saw up there. There's nothing up there. Okay, look, if you lived in this house, would you even walk up there for a second? I have no reason to. There's nothing up there that I need. And there must, I know I saw this when I looked up there. It looked like a pulley system. So whoever was here must have put stuff in here and pulled it up. That's what that must have been. And that thing completely disconnected. That was tied. Look, I saw it because it was tied around this thing right here. And I saw it before. I'm not going up there and I'm not using it. So that fell. So, yeah, man.
In a matter of minutes, that shed goes from a quiet, cluttered workshop to something that looks like an active poltergeist event. A door swings open on its own, a small dark object is hurled through the open doorway, and then a large wooden plank is violently thrown across the room before being lifted straight back up by something that isn't there. Old-fashioned music starts playing from somewhere inside the space. A low moan filters through the audio, and then a scream. No one is visible in that shed at any point. He then heads up into the attic above the shed with his phone's flashlight, and what he finds up there adds a different kind of strangeness to the whole situation. Broken name signs reading Mr. and Mrs. Ronald J., with the last name snapped clean off, a shattered Rolex, shot glasses from Sweetbriar College, a women's college in Virginia. None of it belonging to him, all of it left by a previous owner whose identity is still only half legible. Some viewers think the activity is poltergeist-driven, a term used to describe paranormal disturbances characterized by physical movement of objects, often concentrated around a specific location rather than a person. Unlike a haunting, which tends to follow the individual, others think the broken name signs are the more unsettling detail because something tied to a specific person, something incomplete, something literally snapped in half, has a way of suggesting unfinished business. Then, it got worse. Days later, he's back at the property and you can see in his face that the anger has started to replace the fear.
And I came in here yesterday, and if you want to look in the video from yesterday, that was closed. I slammed that closed in the video. In the video, I slammed it closed and it's fucking open. Now, people were asking, where's your camera? You had a camera in here. Yes, I sat my outdoor camera that is right there up on the house. I set that, look, she won't even come in. I set that camera right there in the corner. I have now purchased a stationary one that is going to be up in that corner. And this is where everything has been happening. Hey, you, I'm over it. You hear that, you piece of shit? I'm over it. Get out of my house. You hear me? Oh, you're not saying nothing today, bitch, are you? Are you? Are you? Huh? You ain't saying nothing today, bitch, are you? Where you at? Where you at, you mother? Because I do not care anymore. What's up? Where you at? Where you at? Huh? Nothing? Yeah, you don't want to talk shit today? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Didn't want to say shit. Of course, man. Of course. Of course. I'm over it. I got a different energy now. That thing. I'm telling you what. This thing has been drawing me in. I have been standing at this window in my kitchen, staring out of this window right here in this shed. I have sat here. It's like it's drawing me in. I'll sit there, wake up late at night, come down the stairs, stand at that sink, or look out of that bathroom window and just stare at this shed. Watch it. Molly, you want to come in? Yeah. Well, if that doesn't tell you, I don't know what does.
Dogs reacting to unseen presences is one of the oldest pieces of anecdotal evidence in paranormal cases. They're not performing for the camera, they're not influenced by suggestion, they just refuse. Molly refused. Whatever's in that shed, it's been there through multiple visits, it's getting louder, and it appears to have opinions about who leaves and who stays. This next video was recorded by a man who woke up at almost 2 in the morning, too unsettled to go back to sleep, and decided to walk through his house with his phone to figure out what was scaring him. He speaks in Spanish throughout, narrating his fear in real time as he moves from the bathroom into the hallway, past a Christmas tree and a dimly lit dining area, the whole space cast in long shadows and that particular kind of quiet that feels wrong at that hour. As he explores, something starts before he even makes it past the kitchen. A strange, high-pitched electronic whine bleeds into the audio, and he stops to whisper, "Escuchen." Listen. Then a sharp bang hits from somewhere off camera, and then, twice, a high-pitched sigh drifts in, clearly audible, clearly not him, sounding like a woman. He checks room after room, peering into a pitch-black closet where the only thing visible is a small blue LED in the dark. Eventually, he makes his way out to a covered outdoor patio. Watch.
Ay, güey. No hace aire, Se empezó a mover solita. Ay, cabrón. Vámonos. Así ya se puso esto. Vámonos para arriba mejor. Vámonos, que ya se puso gacho este rollo.
When he switches on the overhead light, a large fabric hammock hanging from the ceiling beams is already swinging, smooth, rhythmic, as if it had just been pushed. He says it out loud, "No haste air. There's no wind." You can hear the fear in his voice as he confirms what he's looking at. Some viewers immediately pointed to poltergeist activity, the kind associated with physical disturbances, unexplained sounds, then movement. Others think something was already outside waiting, and just as the clip ends, that female sigh returns one final time. So what was in that house with him? The following videos were recorded inside a 1920s home filled with vintage decor, taxidermy, and what the man living there describes as a collection of haunted objects. Pieces he brought with him from a previous house, ones that, according to him, had never caused any trouble in this new space. That changed. In the first clip, he's home alone when he starts hearing banging from the living room, grabs his phone, and heads downstairs to investigate. Watch.
Banging in the living room. There's nobody else in the house. I've just been upstairs watching TV. Some of my old haunted objects from the old house are in here, but nothing's ever happened. Hello? Hello? Oh. Whoa! Oh my god. What? What the hell? Whoa. I'm not staying in there. Oh my god. Oh, it's even colder in here. What is that noise? Hello? Oh my god. Well, it looks like my objects are back at it again, doesn't it? What the hell? What the hell now? I am getting out of here. What the hell?
A taxidermy bird on the fireplace mantelpiece suddenly pitches forward and hits the floor, and almost immediately after, a heavy brass object is violently hurled from the hearth with a loud metallic crash. Then, minutes later, a dining chair in the next room is thrown backward with such force it lands upside down on the carpet. He's audibly shaken, breathing hard, saying his objects are back at it again, before declaring he's leaving the house. Many viewers pointed to poltergeist activity as the most likely explanation, a term that, in paranormal tradition, refers not to a haunting tied to a location, but to a disruptive energy that appears to attach itself to objects or even people, following them from place to place. That would explain a lot here, because the haunted objects theory isn't one he's dismissing himself. Skeptics have pointed to the perfectly timed camera angles and the staged feel of the vintage filter, but the force behind those crashes is hard to shrug off entirely. Then, it got worse. In the second clip, filmed at dusk in the same house, he's alone downstairs while his partner sleeps upstairs when the knocking starts on the living room door. Not once, but repeatedly, and in what sounds like direct response to his questions. Watch closely.
Okay folks, I've just got the camera out because for the third time this afternoon, there's been knocking on the living room door. Now, my partner's presently asleep upstairs. I'm just having a little relax watching TV down here. As you can see, just myself. And several times this afternoon now, the door, either the handle's rattled or no one's gone in. Or someone's knocked on the door. Shh, listen. Hello? Is that you? What the hell are you doing? Whoa, my... What? Are you doing that? Fucking hell. What the hell? See. Is that you, Craig? Hello? If that's you... So... Can you hear that, love? What is it, eh? What is it? Hello? Oh, see, I'm terrified now after the bloody last time. Is anybody in here? Oh. Just heard the noise upstairs as well. Sorry about my language. Oh, Jesus. I don't really know where to go. What's that? Oh shit. Oh my god. The frame's just smashed. It's just missed my legs as well. It's the frame smashed on the floor. Oh my god, what is going on? It's smashed. Jesus. That has been up there for a while. There's no reason at all. Whatever is doing this, get out of this house. You're not welcome.
The lights begin to flicker violently as the knocking continues. Then, heavy footsteps thud down the staircase while no one appears, and moments later, a picture frame is hurled from the wall at the bottom of the stairs, shattering on the floor and nearly hitting his legs. He picks up the broken frame, a lenticular haunted house print, and shouts at whatever's in the house to get out. For viewers who follow poltergeist cases, the escalating pattern here is exactly what researchers describe as a build phase. The activity growing more aggressive, more physical, and more personal over time. Whatever is behind these events, it doesn't seem interested in stopping. The following video is a chilling reminder of why kids shouldn't be left alone outside at night. A young girl who had always dreamed of becoming a content creator decided to film herself at a park not far from her house. It was quiet, familiar, and felt safe, so she set up her camera, excited to record her video. But while she was focused on creating, something else was already there, watching and waiting in silence. Watch.
Acompáñenme a grabar en una plaza enorme. Bueno, no le demos importancia. Miren, toda la plaza. Ahora voy a poner el trípode aquí para que, bueno. Hay alguien. Estaba, miren. Eso. O sea.
Shortly after she starts filming, she notices a figure standing far off in the distance. At first, she tries to ignore it, convincing herself it's probably just someone passing by. But then, the figure moves, suddenly appearing in a different position. This time, it has her full attention. And then, it waves at her. The distance, the silence, the way it moves, none of it feels right, so she quickly decides to hide.
Uy, hay una persona y tengo... Ahí viene, chicos. Bueno, chicos, estoy aquí adentro, pero... Chicos... Voy a limpiarle un poquito la cámara.
What makes this even more disturbing is that she didn't hear footsteps, no sound of movement, yet somehow, whoever, or whatever that figure is, continues getting closer, moving unnaturally fast between positions. And then, it appears right in front of her.
Chicos, tengo mucho miedo. Chicos. Literalmente había una persona persiguiéndome. Chicos, entré abajo de la estructura en donde estaba el muñeco ese. Ay no, chicos, tengo mucho miedo. Se agacha. Chicos, desapareció. Se escuchan pasos arriba. Aquí abajo tengo mucho miedo.
Viewers were left deeply unsettled. Some believe it could be a shadow entity, something known to observe from a distance before approaching. Others say entities like this often appear in isolated places, especially at night, drawn to people who are alone and vulnerable. What troubles people most is how quickly it moved, and how silently it closed the distance, but to some, it was staged, or a prank. But I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. In this next clip, a man who works at a warehouse had been dealing with things he couldn't explain for weeks. It started small, hearing footsteps in empty aisles long after his coworkers had gone home. Sometimes he'd hear the sound of boxes shifting, like someone was moving inventory in the distance, but every time he checked, nothing was out of place. There were nights when he felt watched, especially near the back storage area where the lights didn't reach as well, and more than once, he heard what sounded like breathing behind him. Slow, quiet, only for the space behind him to be completely empty. One night during his shift, he decided to start recording, and that's when he caught this. Watch.
Quiero que chequen algo en esa tarima de ahí. Eso. Y chequen, estoy yo solo.
A figure passes by in the distance, but the moment he looks directly at where it should be, there's no one there. Some believe this could be what's known as a residual presence, something tied to the location itself, replaying movements over and over like a recording trapped in time. Others believe it could be something more aware, something that moves when it knows it isn't being watched directly. What makes this especially unsettling is how often warehouses become the center of stories like this. Large, quiet places where people have worked alone for years, sometimes leaving behind more than memories. But until he shares more footage or finds answers, whatever passed through that warehouse that night remains a mystery. Now, in this next video, a family's youngest daughter had been saying something that deeply unsettled them. On several nights, she would complain that someone was tickling her neck while she lay in bed. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. Each time, she would quickly turn around expecting to see someone standing behind her, and every single time, there was no one there. At first, her parents assumed it was imagination, the kind children sometimes have when they're half asleep. But the consistency of it and the fear in her voice when she described it made them take it seriously. So they installed cameras in the living room and in the upstairs hallway, positioned directly toward her bedroom door, hoping to finally understand what she was experiencing, and then one day they caught this. Watch.
Okay.
In the footage, the girl suddenly reacts like something was touching her. But what makes this moment even harder to explain is that no one else is there. No sibling, no parent, and nothing visible that could have caused that reaction. Some viewers who slowed the footage down claim they could see something sitting very close to her, a faint shape moving beside her before she reacts. Paranormal researchers often warn that physical interaction, especially repeated touch, is one of the most personal and invasive forms of activity. It suggests intent, awareness, something that isn't just present, but actively engaging. And when it targets a child, it raises even more concern, because children are believed to be more sensitive and more open to things adults may not notice. What makes this situation more difficult is that the family doesn't believe moving would solve it. Many people who've gone through similar experiences say activity like this can follow the person, not the place, which means leaving the house might not mean leaving it behind. Right now, the family is searching for answers, ways to protect their daughter and understand why whatever this is seems focused on her. Until then, this remains unsolved. In this next clip, a woman had been living alone with her dog when she began noticing things she couldn't explain. Doors she clearly remembered closing would be slightly open later. Her dog would stand in the hallway, staring into empty space, sometimes whining, sometimes wagging its tail like it saw someone familiar. At night, she would hear light footsteps moving past her bedroom. Not heavy, not aggressive, but soft, like someone small walking barefoot through the house. More than once, she woke up convinced she heard movement just outside her door. Eventually, the feeling became too constant to ignore. She installed cameras around the house, hoping to prove to herself that nothing was really there. But instead, she captured this. Watch. First, the door slowly opens by itself, then something far more disturbing happens. Something peeks out, and this time, she sees something. The shape is small, and for a brief moment, it appears to resemble the apparition of a child standing there. This is where things become deeply unsettling. Child apparitions are often described as appearing harmless at first, small, quiet, non-threatening. But many paranormal researchers warn that not everything that appears as a child truly is one. Some entities are believed to take on innocent forms to lower fear, to gain comfort, and to remain unnoticed longer. What makes this even more disturbing is the behavior itself, peeking from behind doors, observing instead of immediately interacting. After seeing this footage, she didn't hesitate. She packed her things, took her dog, and left the house. She later said she wouldn't return until she found someone who could help her understand what she captured, and more importantly, how to make it stop. So what do you think she was dealing with? Now in this next clip, another family is going through something that has slowly turned their home into a place of constant fear. Their young son has been reacting in ways they can't explain. Some nights he runs out of his room saying someone poked him. Other times, he wakes up with small marks on his body and points at empty walls, quietly saying, "He did it." At first, they thought it was nightmares, imagination, or something he would grow out of. But as the weeks passed, the incidents became more frequent and more physical. It got bad to the extent that sleep became difficult, not just for him, but for the entire family. One night, while they were all asleep, another episode began. Watch. You can see how the boy shifts under the blanket as his feet bend unnaturally, then, suddenly, the blanket lifts like something grabbed it. The little boy immediately wakes up crying and shouting that someone pulled his foot, so to calm him down, his mother tells him she was the one who did it, hoping it would ease his fear. But deep down, she knew she hadn't even left her side of the bed. Later, when they reviewed the CCTV footage, the truth became impossible to ignore. There was no one else in the room, and yet something clearly interacted with him. Encounters like this are often described as direct physical interaction, one of the most disturbing forms of reported paranormal activity, especially when it involves children. Some believe entities target younger individuals because they're more sensitive, more open, and less resistant to their presence. The fact that the boy had already been feeling touches, being poked, and pointing to empty spaces makes this moment feel less like a single incident, and more like something that had been building over time. For the family, the fear isn't just what happened that night, it's the possibility that it could happen again. In this next video, Nate documents yet another disturbing escalation inside his home, and by this point, whatever he's dealing with has gone far beyond subtle or easy to dismiss activity. For those unfamiliar with his story, Nate has spent months trying to understand what's happening in his house. Footsteps moving through rooms when he was alone, objects not staying where he left them, his dog, once comfortable in every part of the house, suddenly refusing to go near certain corners and staring into empty space, growling at nothing. But then things got worse. He began waking up with scratches on his body he couldn't explain, and there was this constant, heavy feeling, like something was moving through the house. Then, one day, he heard knocking coming from the basement, so he did what most people wouldn't have the courage to do. He went to check. And that's when this happened. Watch.
I made my way down to the basement. So I was hearing knocking coming from down here. I don't see anything. The knocking sounded like it was coming from right around here somewhere, because I was in the kitchen and I felt it in my feet.
That voice didn't sound welcoming, and this isn't the first time whispers have appeared in his videos. Many people who followed Nate's story believe this could be something establishing presence, moving from passive signs like footsteps and object movement into direct communication. Now, this raises a much more serious question. If it's already speaking, what does it want from him? The following video was captured by a woman who believes something in her home has taken a disturbing interest in her 2 children. For months, she had been noticing things she couldn't explain. Her daughter would suddenly wake up in the middle of the night, crying and pointing toward corners of their room. Sometimes she refused to sleep altogether, insisting someone was standing near their bed watching them, and more than once, toys would occasionally end up in places no one remembered moving them to. She tried to convince herself it was nothing, but one night, her camera captured something she couldn't ignore. Watch this. She doesn't own any pets, and yet you can clearly see what looks like a tiny hand yank the cord. Some believe this could be the spirit of a child, entities that are often described as curious, drawn to other children, and capable of interacting with physical objects. But others warn that appearances can be misleading. There are countless cases where something presents itself as small or harmless, only to gain comfort and access to a family's space. But what makes this especially unsettling is the focus on the children. The activity isn't random, it's centered on their room, their belongings, and their beds. The mother says she wants to believe she's only being paranoid, but after watching this footage, it's hard not to ask, is this just fear playing tricks on her mind, or is something actually reaching out to her kids? I'll let you decide. Now in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian visits one of the most feared locations in Indiana, the Blackford County Jail. Built in 1879, this place wasn't just a prison, it was also the sheriff's living quarters, meaning law, punishment, and everyday life all existed under the same roof. For over a century, criminals were locked behind its heavy steel doors, until it finally closed in 1995. But according to locals, whatever was left behind never left. Visitors have reported hearing disembodied voices echoing through empty cells. Some claim they've felt sudden sharp pains, only to later discover scratch marks on their skin. And one of the most frequently seen figures is believed to be Sheriff Townsend himself, a former lawman who many say still walks the jail, watching over it long after his death. When Ian stepped inside, he immediately tried to communicate with whatever spirit was present. Watch.
If there's anybody in this jail, and you can hear my voice, could you come talk to me? Could you sit at one of these chairs? How about this one right across from me? Could you pull it out? I hear that there's a man by the name of Ed Townsend. I heard that you were the sheriff here. You passed away from a heart attack, but they say that somehow you're still here. Holy shit, dude. Dude, those were footsteps. Holy shit. They were walking in that room over there. Dude, that literally came from back there. Damn. Did you just walk? Was that you just walking? I freaking heard you. Holy moly.
At first, nothing happens, but after nearly 40 minutes, heavy footsteps echo through the building, like a large man walking somewhere inside the jail.
I could have been walking across this floor. Holy crap. My heart is racing already, and I just started.
Still at the sheriff's office, Ian hears a sound like a chair creaking, and the unsettling part is, Ian was completely alone. Some believe this could be Sheriff Townsend himself, still occupying his office, still carrying out his duty, refusing to abandon the place he once controlled. Others believe the jail has absorbed decades of fear, anger, and suffering, and that energy never truly fades. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following video was recorded by a home security camera and later shared to YouTube by a man named Charlie on his channel, where he claimed the footage was captured outside his property late one night. The camera overlooked a quiet yard, with a parked pickup truck in the foreground and a road running along a tree line in the distance, all of it lit by the yellow-orange glow of a nearby street lamp. At first, nothing seemed unusual. The footage looked like any ordinary overnight security recording, but while reviewing the video, Charlie noticed something near the stop sign on the right side of the road and called his partner over to watch it with him. Watch closely.
And watch the stop sign on the left or on the right hand side. It materializes. There's the head and shoulders
a person
walking down the road, turns and walks up the road and disappears behind the tree.
That's just freaking nuts.
A translucent human-shaped figure is seen on the road, head and shoulders clearly visible, and walks calmly from right to left before turning up a path and vanishing completely behind a tree, never emerging on the other side. What makes this harder to dismiss is that the figure doesn't run, doesn't flicker out mid-stride. It just walks, deliberately, and then it's simply gone. Some viewers think it's a classic residual haunting, a kind of energy imprint replaying a path someone once walked so often it burned itself into the location. Others aren't sure that explanation covers something you can watch materialize out of nothing. What do you think was walking that road? Now, in this next video, a man who works at a cemetery has been documenting a string of increasingly strange incidents coming from the garage on the property, a locked, cluttered workshop filled with lawn equipment, tools, and what he's starting to believe is something that doesn't clock out. Over the past few days, he's reported a white door slamming shut on its own, 3 loud knocks against it while it was still open, and lights flickering on and off through the windows before he even unlocks the place. He's calm about it, almost too calm, which is either the sign of someone who's gotten used to something, or someone who's made peace with something they can't explain. On this particular morning, while he's walking through the garage with a camera and talking through what he'd experienced before hitting record, it happens again. Watch.
Alright, so I am up here at the cemetery, and I wish I would have caught it, but I was just getting my stuff together for the day. And I had this door open along with this bay door, and this door just slammed shut so loud, and I swear prior to it slamming I heard 3 knocks on it while it was open. I have no explanation. I have no explanation. I don't know what the hell that was. It was 3 super loud knocks, and then the door slammed shut so loud, so fast too. It was like, oh, I wish I would have caught it. Sorry, I forgot to say good morning. Did you drop your tool? I'll get it for you. I'll put it on the workbench.
A sudden, jarring metallic clatter erupts from somewhere inside the garage, completely off camera, and the camera jolts as he spins around searching for the source. What he finds is a socket wrench extension lying on the concrete floor. No one else is in the building, and he can't account for how it got there. But here's the thing about the way he responds. He doesn't run. He picks it up, places it on the workbench, and quietly says, "Is that better?" Addressing whatever threw it as if it were a coworker who knocked something off a shelf by accident. Some viewers find that the strangest part. Skeptics would argue the tool could have fallen from a surface nearby, but the force of that clatter and the timing of it are harder to explain away. That simply, the next morning he pulls in and notices the lights in the locked workshop are flashing on and off through the window, and when they finally stay on, he thinks he sees a dark shadow dart past the glass. He unlocks the door and goes in to investigate. Listen closely.
Alright, so I just arrived to the cemetery and through that window saw the lights flashing 3 times, on, off, on, off, on, off. They're now off. I waited like a minute. They didn't turn back on, but the last time they flashed on, I could have swore I saw a dark shadow dart by that window. So we're gonna go right in, unlock the door. We're gonna say good morning right off the bat. Good morning. Good morning. I saw the lights on. Good morning. It looked like something darted by that window right there. Now I don't see anything. We're gonna turn the lights on. Good morning. Just here to work. I saw the lights. I saw the lights flickering. Do you need help? Did you lose something? Morning. Yesterday I saw it dart by that window as I walked in. And it blocked all that out. Oh, shit.
He's mid-sentence when another loud clatter cuts through the silence and a small black circular object appears on the concrete floor near one of the mowers, seemingly thrown from nowhere. His voice drops, his breathing shifts, and he starts whispering, clearly rattled despite having been through this before. He'd seen the shadow dart past that same window the day before, which suggests whatever's in that space isn't a one-time occurrence, but something that keeps showing up. Then, on yet another visit, arriving to find the lights on again in a building he'd left locked and dark, he unlocks the door, steps inside, and whispers that he can see footprints near one of the windows. Watch closely.
Alright, I'm up here at the cemetery, just pulled in, and saw the light flash on, flash off, saw something go by this window, and the lights are on right now. The lights are literally on, still on right now. This is the first time I actually caught the lights while they're still on. Good morning. These lights were off Friday when I left, and now they are on. This is the first time I caught them. They were flashing when I pulled in. This is the first time I caught them actually staying on. Good morning. Oh yeah. No prints. Something flashed in front of this window right here. What the was that? Good morning. Okay. You don't have to throw my headphones. I mean, they're not expensive, but they're not cheap. Actually caught the light staying on this time. You know, you better pitch in for this electric bill if you're gonna keep these lights on.
Two separate metallic clatter sounds erupt one after the other from an unseen source, and when he finally locates the disturbance, he finds his own headphones thrown onto the floor next to one of the mowers. Some people also heard a cat's meow somewhere inside the garage, and while that's been floated as a natural explanation for some of the noises, it doesn't account for all of them, and it certainly doesn't explain the lights turning themselves on between visits. What's living in that workshop, and what exactly does it want with the man who mows the cemetery? The following clips come from the same house, the same rooms, the same security cameras, the same person living through a series of events that started quietly and then got significantly worse. It begins in the early hours of February 16th of 2020, just before 3 a.m., with the house empty, the lights off, and a small cat sitting on the floor near a closed interior door. The cat had come into the bedroom earlier that night and woken the homeowner up, meowing loudly, which he didn't think much of at the time. By the morning, though, the cat was refusing to come downstairs entirely. Watch. The door first drifts open on its own, slowly, a few inches, as if something is testing the weight of it, and then something is seen resting against the wall. No one's there. Skeptics would say air pressure, a draft, an unlatched latch. But the slow creep before the violent slam is what makes that explanation hard to land. Drafts don't usually pause. Then it got worse. On April 27th of 2020, more than 2 months later, the security camera in the same house captured something far more chaotic. The owner had been filming the night before, heard a lot of banging, and went upstairs rather than keep recording, a decision he openly regrets. Listen closely. Objects are thrown from a stacked pile under the stairs. A board game box lands hard in the middle of the floor. A scraping sound tears across the room like something heavy being dragged. And then, as the activity seems to settle, the glass pane door in the center of the frame slams shut on its own with enormous force. Orbs of light appear and vanish twice during the sequence, each one coinciding with a new sound or movement. For viewers familiar with poltergeist cases, that combination, objects thrown, furniture weight scraping, doors slamming, fits a pattern described repeatedly in documented activity reports, where the disturbances escalate in both frequency and aggression over weeks, not in a single night. It's not subtle. And if you've been following this case from the first clip, the same door, the same rooms, the same hours of the night, you'd start to wonder whether whatever this is had been building towards something. 2 months after the security camera footage, the same homeowner found himself downstairs at 5:30 a.m., woken by a loud bang, phone in hand, filming as he walked down a dark staircase. Watch.
Right, so it's like 5:30 in the morning. I just got woken up to a loud bang. I was thinking maybe it's just Corey, but no. Corey's here sleeping next to me. And if you want to have a look as well, this is what he's fucking come to. Falling asleep, watching Minecraft playthroughs. Because I can't fucking sleep and I'm just like, I need to have all my electronics on my fucking Xbox and my PC in order to even like relax. It's ridiculous, but that's what's going on. Let's go see what's going on downstairs. Right, the light's not working again. What the fuck? Orange on the fuck's sake. Freezer's leaking. Right, and the door's just opened itself. I don't even know if the camera picked that up. Oh, for fuck's sake. I can't be bothered with this. Right, if there's anything in the room with me right now, if there's anything or anyone that wants to communicate, open the door. Go on, open the door. What the f? Oh my god. Right, so there's something in the room. Do you want me to do a f***ing Ouija board? Is that it? What the f? For f***'s sake. Right, I'm just gonna. That scared the shit out of me.
Every kitchen cabinet and drawer is standing wide open, and the freezer door is ajar with an orange on the floor. He shuts the drawers one by one, and as he turns, a white door with frosted glass panels slowly swings open behind him. He challenges it out loud, tells it to open the door if it's there, and after a pause, it obliges, thrown open with extreme force, and then slams shut in the same motion. He asks if it wants him to get a Ouija board, and the moment he finishes the sentence, a tall, freestanding stack of cases in the next room violently collapses. He runs. A continuous high-pitched sound, somewhere between a theremin and a tone, runs underneath all of it. That sound in particular unsettled a lot of viewers because it doesn't come from anything visible on screen. Some think it's consistent with infrasound-adjacent phenomena, low or high frequencies sometimes reported in locations with active disturbances, described in some paranormal traditions as a sign that something is present and aware. Others think it's audio added in post to sell the drama. What would you do if that was your house? Sometime after all of this, the homeowner turned his attention to something else in the property, a plasma ball he'd been using as a paranormal communication device. He unplugged it from the wall, established a system of 1 flash for yes and 2 for no, and filmed it responding to his questions. Take a look.
Right, so the plasma balls just started going off again after I filmed that last video, so I figured now's a good time to ask it some more questions. So I'm just going to unplug it here so you know it's not faked. And someone mentioned that I should ask it to do 1 flash for yes and 2 flashes for no. So yeah, whatever's in the room with me right now, if you want to communicate, would you be able to do 1 flash for yes and 2 flashes for no? Right. So you're in the room with me right now. And do you want to communicate? Right, so were you a human? So you weren't a human? Or you're not a human? Right, and are you a demon? No. I don't know what you mean when you flash like that. So when this started, like before this started, I had a dream that Pennywise was downstairs in this house. Was that you trying to communicate to me? Take that as a yes. And are you Pennywise? No, obviously. Right, so are you bad? Yes. That's creepy. And I will just show as well. Yeah, so if I just... Right, so... I want to keep it all in one shot. Yeah, I was wrong. It is battery operated. Look, there is a little battery slot there. So I am just going to show. I didn't even know that was there, but I am just going to show. If I set the phone down like here, right, and then unscrew it. Yeah, I didn't even know that there was a battery thing on it. I think the screwdriver is too big. So yeah, I just want to keep it all in one shot so you can see that that's it. Yes. Oh. Yeah, I'm not well at the moment, so if I sound rough, that's why. Right. So, as you can see, watch it, there's 3 batteries inside of it that I didn't even know about. But yeah, when I bought this, I didn't even look, didn't even check to see if there was a battery thing inside. So yeah, I guess Steve-O was right, but yeah, you can see. Oh. You can see there, there's no batteries. So,
after the questions, he carries the ball to the kitchen and opens a battery compartment in the base on camera in a single continuous take. No cuts, no edits. And the compartment is completely empty. 4 slots for AAA batteries, all of them vacant. So the device had been responding with no connection to a wall outlet and no batteries installed. That final reveal, done almost reluctantly after a viewer pointed out the battery compartment existed in the first place, is what made this clip spread widely. There's no clean explanation for a plasma ball flashing on command with no power source, so what do you think he's dealing with?